Action.
Ah, September, the socially acceptable beginning of the holiday countdown, and therefore the return of my seasonal depression, sprinkled on top of the original flavor. But you know what helps with depression? Drugs! I mean books! Same thing. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Neverland Book Club. Now, I had a plan for this month. Due to all of the back-to-school ads I've been seeing, I have an itch, sorry. I had the intention of dedicating the month of September to all non-fiction titles. You know, so I can learn something. But then, I saw this. Look at this cover. Look at that name. Yes, King has blessed us constant readers once again with yet another title this year. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's begin today's episode with a thank you to all who have been kind enough to read Sweat and Honey. Thank you so much for your support. For now, that is all I have for Maria and Andrea's story, but who knows what the future may hold. What I do know is there are so many more characters and more stories I can't wait for you to meet and read, so please do stay tuned. And if you haven't already, consider becoming a patron, where you get exclusive access to these stories as well as their progress and behind the scenes of their creation. Alright, August wrap-up. The month of August was eventful for me in terms of finding new titles to add as well as plowing through story after story. First, we have Kafka on the Shore. I did share in last month's TBR and the vlog that I had started reading this one and that Murakami feels like home. And yes, I stand by that statement. But I am still not 100% sure what this story was entirely about. There are so many roads it takes, all at once. Every reader is bound to take something away from it. There are unexplained phenomena, talking cats, mystical stones, a seemingly omnipotent Colonel Sanders, for a specific reason. A melancholy ghost girl, the list goes on and on and on. But as much as this book was confusing, it made perfect sense the entire time. Murakami paints in broad, expressive brushstrokes, as well as meticulous and precise line work that blend together in an experience you will find yourself longing for, no matter your age or background, but 18 and over, please. So this is one of my highly recommended titles, for sure, for adults, no children. Next, we have Dune. Now, reading this one in particular was an uphill battle for me. As mentioned last month, my good friend Chelsea and I decided to buddy read this title together. We wanted to give it a good chance, but we both found ourselves not enjoying it as much as we had hoped. I listened to the audiobook for a good 4 hours before I felt somewhat unengaged and a bit offended. There are some books that can be forgiven by being written by a man from a different era, but Frank Herbert is treading that line quite a bit. The tropes in this novel were too in your face, the beautiful girl that had no idea she was beautiful. Let me tell you right now, if you are a man trying to write a woman, we all know we're beautiful, okay? Inside or out, all women are aware of their beauty in some form or another. So enough of that. It also just seemed so dated and a bit uninteresting in the way it was written. Also the way it was narrated. It's very strange because some of the characters are narrating for their own characters, like different actors, and then sometimes it's just one narrator for all the actors. And I'm like, what is going on? There's no structure here. How come sometimes in some scenes, different characters are speaking for themselves, which is fun, and then sometimes it's one narrator for everything? That makes no sense. Chelsea and I both decided to DNF the book after some time, and although my good friend felt content with the decision, and Chelsea, please feel free to voice your opinions in the comments down below, I don't normally DNF books. I don't know if it's a form of FOMO or what, but there are a few, very few number of books I have actually DNF'd. And then I started getting more and more comments about how much I will enjoy Dune, so, and Chelsea, I didn't tell you this yet, love, but I started it over from the beginning. Yes, I started reading it again from the beginning, and as of filming this video, I am on chapter 20, and it's still really not my favorite. But I will try my best to plow through it, despite having other titles I would rather be reading. So, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. Moving on, another title including a female character written by a man who has clearly never brought a woman to orgasm. The Queens Gambit. To substitute the cancelled Dune buddy read, Chelsea and I decided to read The Queen's Gambit together instead. And it went well, for the most part. We both enjoyed the overall story and the insider's look on the world of chess. However, we both also had some issues with the main character, Beth Harmon. Perhaps not with her herself, but with the way she was written. You see, there are elements in the book that were not shown in the Netflix adaptation with good reason, because they are completely unnecessary. And it just seemed like Walter Tevis was experimenting with the taboo and felt like a story about chess needed a bit of shock value, which came very cheaply and could be quite triggering for survivors of sexual abuse. So, yeah, if something of such nature is essential to a storyline, by all means, write the character's truth. But when something like that is just thrown in for shock value, no. No thank you. Next, we have The Sandman by Neil Gaiman. This book was so much fun to listen to. I have never heard an audiobook presented in such a cinematic way. I was listening on the freeway and completely missed my exit because I was so enveloped in the story and on autopilot. But let me tell you, James McAvoy's voice as the Sandman himself,
sex? Yes, please.
very captivating. Gaiman is truly a master storyteller. He narrated the story, which made it even more special since his voice is just so silky smooth and powerful at the same time. It's not just that the characters are all voiced by different actors. The sound design and production quality is of true importance. A character writing a letter is not just reading out the internal monologue. You can hear the scribbling noise of pen to paper, the rustling of the wind outside, the fire crackling in the corner of the room. You're enveloped in the sounds so entirely. It's truly a whole new experience. Whole new world? I recommend this version of The Sandman highly, especially right now since it's free with your Audible subscription until sometime in October. So if you haven't already, consider signing up for Audible with this link right here and get your first month free. Or click the link in the description. Free, and you can also get this title free, which I just said. Bleep, 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 bleep. Next, we have a July title I hadn't gotten to until August. A Darker Shade of Magic. I have so much to say about this novel, but I need to read the following 2 books in the trilogy before forming an entire opinion on the series. However, I will say the author of this book and the author of Addie LaRue feel like completely different people. That's not to say one is bad and one is good, not at all. V.E. Schwab is just that diverse. And props to her. She is truly amazing and one of my favorite authors. I also follow her on Instagram, and it is such a treat to see such a brilliant mind just living their best life and having the same struggles us normies have on our day-to-day. This book was an adventure I didn't know I needed. Like magic pirates, kings, queens, princes, evil parallels, and London. It was a hoot and a half. I decided not to tab this book the way I normally tab. I did a little secret tab where I just hide the tabs so they don't stick out. I did this so the book can fit back in its box without getting squooshed. Alright, so those were all the titles I was able to get through in the month of August. Not many, but I have come to the realization that my life calls for 3 to 5 books a month instead of the ambitious 20 I used to aspire to. Why disappoint yourself before you start? Be realistic, you curly-haired clown woman, even though today it's rather straight, but those curls are stubborn. And maybe then you'll be happy. Maybe. Probably not, but try. I'm happy. Now let's get into the good stuff. September TBR. First, we have the new Stephen King title, and I am appalled Amazon did not notify me the day it was released. I had my notifications set and everything, but I never got one. Billy Summers! A hitman with a moral compass written by the same man that conjured the existence of Pennywise and whatever that thing was in the tub of room 237, though it could be argued that those two are one and the same. I plan on reading this book first because I need a King fix after reading later, which was so quick. It was more like a King snack rather than a full-course meal. And Mama's starving. This looks like it'll really hit the spot, and I am excited. Please don't disappoint me, King. Next, we have The Wind-Up Bird Chronicles by Haruki Murakami. Of course. I have no idea what this one is about. As you know, I base my purchases and TBR off of the author more so than the plot, so let's see. In a Tokyo suburb, a young man named Toru Okada searches for his wife's missing cat. Of course. And then for his wife as well. Oh. In another world beneath the city's placid surface, all these searches intersect. He encounters a bizarre group of allies and antagonists, gripping, prophetic, and suffused with comedy and menace. Well, if I've never read a more accurate description of Murakami's writing style, that is right on the cat's nose. This also seems like it will be right on brand with underlying psychological themes hidden behind an intricate and all-around weird plot. I have all of Murakami's titles on my Amazon wishlist and plan on enjoying myself through every read. Where king is cake, Murakami is like ice cream cake. Different. For special occasions. Alright, next we have Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. This title has been on my list for a very long time. Why did I decide to read it now? Absolutely no reason. I was looking up how to read this one. Should I go Kindle, hardback, paperback, Audible? And I don't know if it's just because of where I am in the world or what it is, but it's actually more expensive than what I'm used to paying for physical books, or even the Kindle versions. So I used one of my monthly Audible credits and problem solved. I plan to start listening to this one as soon as I'm finished plowing myself through Dune, so it'll probably be a while now. Clara and the Sun is Ishiguro's comeback after winning the Nobel Prize in Literature, so I have high hopes. No pressure. What I've gathered from hearing other booktubers recommend it, the story is really sold by its hopeful narrator, whatever that means. I'll just have to listen and find out for myself, and I'll let you know. And last but not least on this short list, we have A Gathering of Shadows, the second book in the Shades of Magic series. I was actually itching to read this one as soon as I put A Darker Shade of Magic down, but I practice restraint and discipline as best I can. I want to allow myself to miss Kel, Rai, and Leela. Oh, Leela, Lila. I've had crushes on fictional characters before, but hey there, Delilah, what's it like in Red London? What's it like in Red London? I read the back of book 1 here a few months ago, so let's see what book 2 has in store for us now. Kel is one of the last magicians with the ability to travel between parallel universes. Linked by the magic city of London, it has been 4 months since a mysterious obsidian stone fell into his possession and he met Delilah Bard. Now Kel is visited by dreams of ominous magical events, waking only to think of Lila. And as Red London prepares for the Element Games, an international competition of magic, a certain pirate ship draws closer. But another London is coming back to life. The balance of magic is perilous, and for one city to flourish, another must fall. You know what? I know why I have a crush on Leela. Her! That's why! I think of her. But Lila is a bit more badass. Even though she ended up being the Pirate King and wife to the new captain of the Flying Dutchman, a woman who saved the lives of her crew by seducing Jack Sparrow to his death and then literally traveling to World's End to get him back while dealing with the loss of her father. And I'm sorry, you're still here. Let's wrap this up, shall we? I'm a busy woman. All right, my lovely viewers, that's all I have for you all today. Thank you so much for watching, and please be sure to subscribe if you're not. Also, please consider being a patron to help support this channel and becoming a part of our little community of writers and readers. Today's shout out goes to Marissa McLean. Thank you for your subscription. It turns out book reviews aren't as popular as other book-related videos because they're about one book in particular, rather than a concept or practice around a bibliophilic lifestyle. Which is why during my reviews I try my best to bring in other outside ideas and lessons I have learned while reading that particular title. Either way, I have so much fun doing them, I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. So stay tuned for more reviews as well as other booky fun times. I have a number of ideas for new series and fun interactive videos coming soon, so yeah, subscribe. Alright, I'm off to go commandeer a ship with black sails and travel the high seas blindly following the direction of a magical compass, because not all treasures is silver and gold, mate. I just want to be a kid again. Stay lost, keep reading. Keep a weather eye on the horizon. Goodbye. Hello, Poppet.